If you knew anyone that owned a Minecraft server in 2023, you might want to go check on them to make sure they're still okay. I kinda predicted it last year. Minecraft servers across the board were showing big downturns, but this year, it's gotten a whole lot worse. The big shock to everyone was Mineplex, which just kind of poofed one day with no announcement simply because the owners just stopped paying the bills. Another high-profile shutdown this year was a Bedrock featured server called Pixel Paradise, and while no official reasoning was given, it was pretty easy to figure out exactly what happened, which I'll explain later in this video. There's almost certainly going to be more shutdowns as the year goes on, and we'll talk about who might be next, why these servers are shutting down, and which servers give us hope for the future. First though, let's get back to Mineplex. Like I said earlier, the shutdown was a shock because no one expected it to actually happen. The writing on the wall was there for years though. The server was very obviously in huge trouble, and that's why no one was surprised when it actually happened. There were no updates, no communications from the owners, and the server was generally just falling into disrepair from extreme neglect, and the dwindling player count showed it. From my understanding, not even the Mineplex staff were told that the server was shutting down. But when both the Bedrock and Java servers went down at roughly the same time on May 14th, it was pretty obvious exactly what happened. It actually took a few days to get any official word from Mineplex when an admin, to be clear, not an owner, just an admin, said that the server was permanently shutting down and that they didn't have any say in it. A screenshot that I was sent also contains a Mineplex developer talking about how they were kept in the dark on the server's status and also weren't paid for 2 months before the server shut down. You can also pretty easily determine from this that the owners simply just stopped paying their server bills, and as a result, their hosting company shut down the server. Regardless, the whole shutdown was a complete mess, and I don't think there's any way that it could have been handled worse. Now, a week and a half after all of this, everyone in the Mineplex Discord server got a ping from a guy named Sam, who said that they just purchased the rights to the server and they were gonna bring it back to its, quote, glory days. Now, if you didn't know, Sam is an Overwatch content creator, known as Samito, and he's pretty much your typical FPS streamer.
God, I hope every Mercy Main's PC catches on fire and they aren't able to play the game. It's crazy how these people can contribute nothing to society and sit there and left click and get value.
Now, in the 3 or so months that he's owned Mineplex, there's been some new staff announcements, some hey, we're working on it, but nothing really concrete to show for Project Ashes, which is the code name for the rebirth of Mineplex. To say it in the nicest way possible, I'm skeptical about the future of the server and if it'll even get off the ground. So while I was editing, I went back through the Discord to get some screenshots of the announcements, and an announcement they didn't ping for was posted 2 days ago after I'd already done all of my research and written the script for this video, but apparently Project Ashes might be coming out on the 15th of September, which is pretty interesting. Does this change what I think about the state of Mineplex currently? Well, I'd love to be proven wrong, but with the way things are going, there's just not much that gives me hope for Mineplex currently, especially with the way that Minecraft servers have been trending in the past couple years. Another server that saw an unexpected yet entirely unsurprising shutdown this year though was Pixel Paradise, which was a featured server on Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Now, there were no indications that the server would shut down during the summer of 2023, but the fact that it had always been the least played featured server since its inception kind of told us everything that we needed to know. Averaging less than 200 players online at a time simply isn't going to make enough money. Now, Pixel Paradise never actually gave us an official reason as for why the server was shutting down, and their initial announcement about it on July 11th was nothing more than some PR speak. If I had to guess why though, the reason was likely just the fact that the parent company of Pixel Paradise, in PvP, also owned another Bedrock featured server called Mineville, and these two servers essentially use the same business model. You pay for a pass to play the games, and there's not much that you can do for free on either server. I think the servers were kind of competing against each other, which was kind of pointless in PvP's eyes since they probably had to pay for separate staff, developer, and build teams for each server, and they're likely trying to consolidate the two into just one entity since one of the more successful game modes, Cookcraft, is apparently being moved to Mineville in the future. Now, one funny thing that I noticed about the shutdown of Pixel Paradise was that it almost seemed like they were trying to hype it up a little bit. It first started with the staff pushing back the original shutdown date of July 19th indefinitely, as in they didn't give us a new shutdown date at all. After a little bit of harmless pestering, they finally did announce that August 11th would be the new shutdown date, and after playing it on the day of the shutdown and then waiting like 5 hours after the actual time that they said they would shut down, I can confirm that Pixel Paradise still sucks. I'd say good riddance, but I also genuinely do feel bad for the people that lost their jobs from the shutdown of this server and Mineplex, and that's why servers shutting down in 2023 isn't necessarily a good thing, even if the servers themselves aren't the best. So, what common themes can we take away from all of this? Why have two relatively well-known Minecraft servers shut down just a few months apart from each other? I mean, both of these servers had support from Minecraft and Microsoft themselves and still couldn't make it. Well, the really obvious answer is money, and more specifically, a lack of players to bring in that money. Like I said earlier, I kind of predicted it last year in my video about why Minecraft servers were dying in 2022, and after a prolonged period of downturn into 2023, servers shutting down was kind of inevitable. The Minecraft server landscape is changing across the board, and servers that refuse to adapt will kind of get left in the dust. This is just my personal opinion, but the gameplay of both Mineplex and Pixel Paradise felt very old school, and not necessarily something that the new generation of Minecraft players today would enjoy playing. Now, a saying that I've heard goes something along the lines of, once is happenstance, twice is a coincidence, and 3 times is a pattern. The fact that both Pixel Paradise and Mineplex have shut down means that we're technically still in the coincidence phase, but if you look at how Minecraft servers are doing across the board, I think it's pretty safe to say that this is a little more than just a coincidence, barring a few outliers. This is compounded by the fact that as I'm releasing this video, school is starting back up in many parts of the world, and I think a lot of servers are going to see big hits to their revenue as the year goes on. This then brings up the question, what servers might be next to shut down? Well, there's a few high-profile candidates, the first of which being the Bedrock-featured server Galaxite. This server was released near the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, and they're known in the Bedrock community as being one of the most unique servers in, well, just about everything. They like to do things differently, but this hasn't exactly translated well to server player counts, and they haven't really hit their big break yet. While I have zero knowledge on what Galaxite's financial situation is actually like, I feel like you can reasonably speculate that they haven't exactly made that much money from the server, and that it also can't be super cheap for them to consistently put as much effort as they do into a server. There are a few saving graces for them though. One, there's a new game mode releasing on the server soon that could always potentially turn things around, and 2, Galaxite are owned by Blockception, which is one of the larger creators operating on the Minecraft Bedrock marketplace, and the server could potentially just be operating at a loss while they're funded by revenue made from the marketplace. Now, one of the other options that I've seen a lot of people talking about as the next server shutting down is the Bedrock featured server Mineville, and while this is worth considering, I personally don't see it happening. Yes, it is typically the least played featured server, however, like I mentioned earlier, they essentially merged with Pixel Paradise recently and are gonna swallow up most of their player base. Combine this with the fact that you have to pay real money to essentially play anything worthwhile on Mineville, and I can't imagine that the server is really hurting for money either. But the final candidate, and the one that I think is most likely to shut down in the final months of this year, is the Java server Tubnet. Owned by the content creator Tubbo, this server has generally just been unremarkable in its lifespan up to this point. From a botched release that took a lot of hype out of the server, to broken promises about features that never saw the light of day, to even the games on the server which you could arguably find better versions of each elsewhere, it's pretty safe to say that Tubnet has not had a good first year. Combine this with the fact that Tubnet peaks at around 25 players on normal days, and it's pretty obvious where the server is headed. Tubbo himself has even said that he lost over $1 million funding the server, and as much as I wanted Tubnet to be the next big thing, I honestly just don't know if I can say that the reality is there anymore. But remember what I said earlier? I think it's pretty safe to say that this is a little more than just a coincidence, barring a few outliers. There are a couple of exceptions, which are servers that have actually done well in 2023 despite all of the downturn around them. The first one is pretty obvious, and at this point is a staple in all of my videos where I talk about good Minecraft servers. It's MCC Island. It's pretty self-explanatory. Well-polished games from Minecraft Championship, which is the biggest Minecraft tournament, but for everyone to play. And with it just recently opening up to the public, I'd say that the sky is the limit for this server. However, a much lesser known server has also been making some waves in the community recently, and it's a German Java server called Attribution. Most recently known for creating unique takes on games like Mario Party and Only Up, but in Minecraft, this server has been showing a ton of promise to potentially be the next big thing, assuming they can stay out of copyright trouble. Still, Attribution has been peaking at over 500 players almost daily, and I'm sure that number will continue to grow if they keep putting out bangers like they have been. Overall though, Minecraft servers have been having a really rough time in 2023, and I think it's a trend that we'll continue to see over the coming months and potentially years. That's not to say that there isn't potential for servers to come back, but if you want to see something else that struggles in Minecraft, I recommend checking out my video about Minecraft on the Chromebook, which it absolutely does. That's going to be it for me today though. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.